Hi, team. I'm Fitz Kohler, your fitness expert and very noisy race announcer for the Boulderthon. And tonight we are going to recap all of the highlights from race weekend. I mean, all of them. That's probably an overstatement because there's no way we could possibly uh, connect about all of them. But what an extraordinary weekend in Boulder. It was my first time there, and I've got a lot to say about this race weekend. So wherever you are, please feel free to use the comments section to say hi and share comments, ask questions, and we'll get the show on the road. This is our race director, the creator of the Boulderthon, Mr. Phil Dumontet. Hello, Phil.
Hi, Fitz. Thanks for having me back.
Of course. So how are you feeling? How have you recovered?
We are still riding high from last weekend. Such an incredible weekend, but finally recovering and feeling really good now.
Well, you not only put on a phenomenal race weekend, but you ran.
That was so exciting. Definitely one of my favorite parts was to actually participate as a runner.
Now, had you participated on year 1 or 2?
No, this was my first time actually participating.
And what'd you think?
It was so fun. It was so fun to actually experience it as a runner, being part of it, and just understanding it from the runner lens. I've run the course so many times, just living here, but being able to talk to runners on the course, where are they from? It's just, talking about their first marathon experience, going past the noisy, fun aid stations together, going through those challenging hills together, can definitely relate and resonate. And I think it was a really good experience for me to be part of it.
And on a scale of 1 to 10, how proud were you?
I was over 10.
Oh,
It was
incredible.
just such a long time in the making to see this course and marathon come to life. So
Yeah, it's one thing to have a dream and make a plan, but then to make it happen and then bask in it, be a part in and what
yeah.
a talented runner you are. You ran 1:24:24 for the half.
Yes, thank you. I was definitely more focused on providing an amazing runner experience for everybody else more than my own race. But I think somewhere around halfway through the half marathon, I was really like soaked it in and appreciated what I was doing at that point.
I'm
I was still in
glad.
race director mode while I was for the first half looking at everything, I'd say.
Yeah, that's a pretty busy morning. So, before Boulderthon, had you directed other races?
No, this was my first. Really, just saw the vision and opportunity to bring a marathon to Boulder. So it was really important for me to hire folks with a lot of experience, a lot of operations experience from Ironman and Rock and Roll Series, folks who have done this for many, many years, much more than me, to put it together and actually execute it.
Well, I got to tell you, I mean, you know this, but maybe not everybody does who's watching. I host some of the finest races in America. I spend most weekends of the year with Big Sur and Los Angeles and Fargo and Buffalo and these behemoths. And you're missing nothing. You blew the doors off. It is a
You.
high quality, first class event. It doesn't look like it came from a new race director. I mean, it really world class.
I
Congratulations.
appreciate
It
it.
was awesome.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. It means a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. I was very impressed. And I love that. I show up to a new event. I never know what I'm going to get. I know I'm going to
Yeah.
get great people and I'm going to do my part. But it was wonderful to look around and just know that I was part of something even greater.
Yeah, absolutely. It was so fun to have you there. We had a
Yeah.
blast.
Yeah, it was great. What a beautiful town. So, as you know, my flights were delayed, so I think I got into Boulder at 2:15 in the morning and woke up at 4. So it was all
We
a
were all
mystery.
tracking you. We wanna make sure we had an announcer ready to go, so
I
that
was going to be there if I
was an
had
important flight to come in, yeah.
to flap my arms. I was coming in, but when the sun came up, it was such a treat to get to see the
No,
beauty
you
that
didn't even see the mountains when you got in, I guess, yeah.
No, it was a mystery. It was a mystery trip until that morning. So I want to start at the start. I didn't get to be at your expo Saturday, but tell us about the highlights there.
Yeah, the expo was so much fun. So the expo is in downtown Boulder, right in the heart and soul of Boulder on the Pearl Street Mall. We had over 40 vendors there, live music, and got great feedback from the expo and that it's just really integrated into the town. Obviously, not always possible, but often races are, can be in conference centers and outside of the city or outside the race environment. We've had some windy weather in the past. We've had a little bit of rain, so it's definitely not a foolproof plan to have an outdoor expo. Several folks said we were quite bold to do so. I remember over the weekend, it's really fun to integrate it into the city of Boulder because you have obviously thousands of runners coming through to pick up their bibs and talk to the vendors and experience it. But then you also just have locals and tourists walking through and saying, "Hey, what's this?" I mean, we have runners signing up right up until the last day saying, "Oh my God, I didn't know there was a 10K here tomorrow in Boulder." So to be really integrated into the city like that was a lot of fun. And this year we did our live podcast as well with Marathon Trading Academy. Trevor hosted Scott Jurek, which was just an awesome chat. So generous with his time and gave us some great advice. And then some of our influencers that came out as well. Dom hosted Caitlin and Kim, Track Club Babe, as well. And there was just a really fun discussion and a podcast. So that was a new component for us this year as well.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I'm sure that was well received. Folks, if you took part in Boulderthon, use the comment section. Let us know which distance you ran and what you loved most about the weekend. Yeah, I heard Scott Jurek's talk was really well received.
Yeah, that was awesome. He's such a great guy and local. He's a global legend and just a local local runner and just really down to earth and so generous with his time. He's been a supporter of our race from day one, has run it all 3 years, so we're so grateful to have him as part of the race.
What distance did he run?
He ran the 5K with his kids.
Okay, that's what I thought, because
Yeah.
he came through and I was like, "Oh, Scott Jurek," and there was a little Jurek, and I didn't know
He
who the
can run
little Jurek
backwards,
was.
with his eyes closed. But and his wife did run the I think it was the half. The half marathon. So it was
Wow.
great too.
Fit family. In fact, one of my observations is that your runners are overall way fitter than any other race anywhere I've
Is
ever
that
announced
right?
ever. And I've announced hundreds, right? But yeah, the amount of shirtless guys that are just in eight pack and
It's
even
Colorado for you. Yeah.
even the back of the pack was so fit. And usually, and I mean this with the most sincere praise, the back of the pack is the fun people. They're the ones you
Totally.
never expect to be out running, and they're just silly and having a great time and killing it.
Yeah.
But your back of the back, what do we? I think we had 10 waves to start the half and the
Yeah.
full, and the back was almost as serious as the front. They were just hardcore and
Yeah. Ready to go.
such fit bodies. Do you think the average Joe or Jane is somewhat intimidated to run Boulder?
Possibly, yeah. That's an interesting question. It's definitely, we got two things that make it challenging. Obviously, the altitude, and then also it's not a flat course by any means. It's a hilly, challenging course, and it's definitely going to make you stronger, and it's going to make you feel like other courses are a lot easier. So I think there is that component of it, but that's why we introduced the 5K and 10K, and it was just like, here's an opportunity to really experience Boulder still on a distance that's attainable and kind of work your way up to the half or the full. But I'd never heard that before, so I appreciate you noticing that and sharing that with me.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, even the final marathoners were wildly fit. I'd say everybody who does a full marathon gets
Sure.
real fit cred, but your folks are for real. In fact, at some point I thought, do we have a lot of military here? I didn't see many branch logos, but do you think
Mhm.
you have a bunch of military
Definitely
running?
possible with Colorado Springs being such a large market for us and being about 2 hours away or so. So I wouldn't be surprised.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just very impressive, and I get the bird's eye view of everything at the
Yeah,
start. I think I definitely have the best seat in the house. I'm like, "Wait a minute, there's
totally.
something unique about these people at the start," and then at the,
You see
at
every single person start and every single person finish. So it's a
oh,
pretty cool vantage point.
yeah, what a blessing, and, before we move on, I wanna say, if anybody left with an extra gear bag, there's some dude, Dan McNulty, who if
Yes.
did he find it? Do you know if he's
Not that
okay?
I've heard, so I appreciate you bringing that up because we
Yeah.
want to sort that out for him if we can.
His
So
wallet, his keys, some
yeah,
other things. I saw that comment on the Instagram page, and poor Dan McNulty, let's get him back his stuff. If
yeah,
you
someone
want,
has it. So
yeah,
talking
yeah,
about.
please reach out to that guy. My goodness. So, okay, so race morning, Looked like you all were very organized. Were there any hiccups or smooth sailing?
The only hiccup we had was we did have an 8-minute start delay due to the Boulder police securing the course with a vehicle. So we always defer obviously to safety and runner safety. So we did have to wait until we had the all clear from Boulder PD. Got that 8 minutes past the start time. So something to be aware of for next year for us to improve upon. So that was one hiccup we had on the start, but once we got going, runners just had such a great time, and it was such a great start experience. So I'd say that would be the one spot we wanted to work on.
Yeah, they sure did. Did somebody move a barrier and drive onto the course?
Yeah, someone went around one, so
Mm.
it was kind of a surprise, and we had to get the commander to come down and make sure that was all clear and secure for our runners, since there were so many coming through, and we were taking up the entire road, shutting down Boulder. So it was just critical to make sure we had that all clear and for runner safety.
So, our athletes were so patient, and
Yeah,
there wasn't one grouchy face about it. But I do love when you came over and you said, "No anthem until I tell you to."
yeah, exactly. It's like, hold, I got to get the clear from PD.
It's stalling time, but
Yep,
they
you were
were
very entertaining. Yeah,
just a little more quality time together at this.
totally.
Yeah, so everybody gathered, great. I mean, quite often at a race, I have to tell people, "Come, it's time to line up." Your people were ready to go. How many half and full marathoners did we have?
Yeah, the half was the biggest race, close to 4,000, about 1,200 on the full. And then the balance were in the 5K and 10K, which had sold out many, many weeks before. So definitely an area where we can expand the course capacity in the 5K and 10K. But the half was the most popular.
Yeah, it was huge, and they kept coming. I think did we have 10 waves? Do you know
I
how
think
many
it was
waves?
10. Yeah.
That's solid.
Yeah.
That's and your start line manager, Jules,
Yeah. Julie. Yeah. Jules. Yeah.
fantastic.
Yeah. She is one of those folks who's just had just tremendous experience. And we're really grateful to have her on the team. And that was our first start downtown that we've ever had. First time Boulder Marathon has ever started downtown. First time a marathon's ever started downtown here. So it was super exciting day.
Yeah, it was a perfect setup. It was really fun, and again, she had a great attitude. She was large
Yeah.
and in charge, but very delightful. Not every
Yes.
start line manager is very delightful, but Julie was wonderful to work with. So we got
Fantastic.
Sharon, our Jenny O. She loved running past the airport after the huge hill.
Yes, I love that too, and I'm glad you called that out. It was fun to beautiful views going past the airport. Plus, you got to see all the little Cessnas and glider planes. So that is one of my favorite parts of the course too.
So what were your favorite parts from race weekend?
Yeah, we talked about it a little bit, but just definitely experiencing as a runner was just so awesome. I met so many people on the course, cheering people on, and just experiencing it firsthand for next year, knowing exactly where the aid stations are, where there's spectators, where all the fun was. So I think that was number one. The volunteers were just beyond this year. They were just incredible. We're getting so much great feedback on how many volunteers, how friendly they were, and how organized they were at aid stations, cheering everybody on. So we were super grateful for that. I definitely have to say the volunteers were some of my favorite parts for sure. Have to mention the weather. That is a variable outside of our control, but we just had the most perfect weather. So that was wonderful. Generally, it's usually pretty nice September, October in Boulder, but you never quite know. So that was amazing to have that perfect fall day with everybody. And mentioning, the start downtown, like I said, that was historic. Many, many years in the making to bring a marathon downtown, start and finish there, make it part of the community and the overall city. So that was historic and definitely one of my favorite parts. And then I love the expo this year. It was just so many great vendors, the podcast, the music, such good energy and vibes. Everybody was smiling, at expo. Everybody was smiling at the finish line. So it was just great energy all around.
Yeah, I feel like everybody was very included and felt like they were a special part of the day, whether they were the first or last one to come through it. And then our finish line fans were
They
fantastic.
were. I'm glad you bring them up. Yeah, they were loud. They were there for the whole time, making sure everybody got through and felt supported. And it was a really fun finish, right? Because as everybody hopefully knew beforehand in our pre race call, the Mapleton Mile, the last mile, is uphill and it's challenging. And then you have about maybe 300 meters of downhill. You make that final left and you just start heading down to the finish line. You hear Fitz screaming and cheering everybody on, and you hear the crowd roar. So it was a really cool setup. And we got a bunch of cowbells out there, and Boulder showed up in force. So that was awesome.
Yeah, yeah, it was very impressive, and they stayed pretty late in the day, so
They really
it's
did.
if you're the last finisher, it's hard to imagine you're gonna get, 1,000 people still there, but they hung in there, and they were fun, and they were funny, and when I talked to them, they talked back because I'm also there for hours on end.
Yeah.
It's really nice when they're interactive, and they danced, they sang, they cheered, they were really fun, and then your medals, everybody loved the medals. I only got a peek of one of the medals. Do you have a medal with you?
Yeah. Do I have one now? Actually, yeah, I do have one now. Here we go. Got two medals for you. This was my medal. Let's zoom in on this here.
Beautiful.
And then I have my son's medal.
Oh,
Dante, he's almost 3 years old, and he participated in the kids run. So that was pretty fun. Super cute, and right down Pearl Street. But yeah, these medals were designed by one of our runners, as I mentioned in our first show. And second year in a row that we've had one of our very own runners design our medals. And they're 100% recyclable materials, which is awesome as well, just like our shirts. So that was a commitment we made this year with producing 7,000 runner shirts and medals.
yeah.
It was awesome to bring that sustainability element to it. And we'll be doing it again this year because we just got such great feedback on making it kind of a for runners by runners experience, and engaging the runners. So definitely follow us on social if you're not already. We'll be putting out a contest over the next few weeks for a call out for medal designs. So cool opportunity to get a design out there that's going to be worn around 7,000 runners next. So
Yeah, so for next year, so we had 7,000 this year, so you've doubled every year. What do you think about next year?
my goal is definitely 8 to 10,000 range. I do like giving a range, so I think we can get there. We executed really well this year. Got great feedback. We're going to be getting off the Chicago weekend, so that's really helpful. As one of the number one reasons that we didn't have runners there was, I want to come to Boulderthon, but it's Chicago weekend. So getting off that will also open the doors to a lot of runners.
Is there anything significant on Labor Day? I can't think of anything.
Not that I know of. I know, Jamie, it is such a perfect time of year for the marathon. And we will start earlier in September. But that is the reason why, was just to be able to open access to more runners a little bit earlier, less competition with other marathons, and move it up to September. But I hear you on, it's definitely a favorite for in October for a lot of runners too. I appreciate that.
Yeah. Well, you know what? You got to make an executive decision, and it's impossible to please everybody, but if you're hearing Chicago, Chicago's a real
Yeah.
problem, you might be wise to adjust, and then maybe this will be your weekend for the next 30 years, right?
Yeah, exactly. We don't want to
Hmm.
keep changing it, that's for sure. So
So one of my favorites, I'm pretty much not supposed to choose favorites on race day, but they're all my favorite. But Marco Cisetto, do you know
yeah,
Marco?
yeah. I had the privilege to meet him. I had never met him before Boulderthon, and that
So
he's such an inspiration.
he sure is. So if anybody doesn't know who Marco is, I met him a couple years ago when he set the half American half marathon record for fastest half as a double amputee. He ran Gasparilla with me, but he is an elite Kenyan runner. Came to America, was running track and cross country in Alaska at college. Went running in a blizzard, ended up with hypothermia and frostbite, and lost his legs. And it just, not only the magic of science, but the magic of Marco Cisetto to say, okay, give me some new legs and I'm going to go running. And he has set every record as a double amputee. He's just a phenomenon. And I
He is.
adore seeing him out on a course. It was such a treat.
Really was such an inspiration, amazing person. I chatted with him for a bit. I was lucky to do that during Expo before everything kicked off, and he decided in the last few days, last minute, to fly out from Florida. So that was awesome that he joined us.
Yeah, it's incredible, and for for so many of us, we're surrounded by people who do, right? And then there's the people who don't and won't. And I always try and encourage the folks at the finish line, hey, take a look. Who's never run a race before, a 5K even, and you see a lot of hands go. Say, okay, take a look at people on this course, and you'll see people like you, people who maybe possibly look less capable with you,
Mhm.
maybe people with zero legs. And then when you see that guy or that gal run by, reconsider whether you can't do a 5K type thing.
True.
So he's a massive inspiration. And it's just I'm glad he chose Boulderthon. I think that's a real privilege when
It
these
really was.
record holders show up for your
Yeah,
race.
such an honor. I'm so happy to have him for sure.
Super cool. And then we had a proposal at the finish line, which I missed because they waited and
Yes,
went
I heard
by.
about that. I was reading the post-race surveys, and somebody noted that they had proposed at the end. So I didn't see that either. I would have loved to have seen that.
Yeah, me too. So hopefully they come back next year. Perhaps we can do a pre-race wedding.
Yes, that'd be fun.
And then
If
if
you're
they
watching, come on back. You're welcome.
yeah, they have a family one day, everybody's got to come be a part. The other fabulous part of your finish line was the constant announcements I had to make for one of your vendors, because apparently they were concerned that Liquid Death had alcohol.
Yes.
So they keep saying it's just water in a cool can.
Yeah, exactly. A lot of folks, and that is their whole marketing gig, but it's I thought that was beer, and we're like, nope, that is water. You can stay well hydrated. We do have beer too, but that's the next 10 over. So
Yeah, it's
yeah.
just water. So it was very funny to have to keep saying that. So so what do you have in store for next year?
Yeah, we are taking all the feedback in from this year for sure. Really thankful to everybody who filled out their post race survey as well. We sent that out to all finishers. So if you haven't yet, I read every single response. So please do fill it out. And I really love reading all the positive feedback, areas where you thought we could improve. So I really base the race off of the feedback. And I think, having a few more waves next year would be helpful for the start. 5K, 10K. My goal is to get that into off the paths and onto all roads to expand those courses. So a lot of folks were shut out of the 5K, 10K, having sold out many weeks before the races went off last weekend. Dozens and dozens of people every day were emailing, trying to get in. I'm just like, we just can't fit any more runners on the paths on the course that we have, and we want to preserve the experience for our runners that have signed up well in advance. So 5K, 10K will definitely be larger, new course next year. The half and the full, really, great course, gorgeous, challenging. I think you come to Boulderthon to challenge yourself and again make other marathons feel easy. You're gonna be a lot stronger afterwards, and you're gonna have all that fun downtown. So we the half and the full, we love those courses. Bigger and better expo next year as well. The podcast went over really well, so I think that's an area where we can do more of. And the start and finish downtown, of course, a no-brainer. We'll be doing that going forward too. So, but definitely throw me your feedback and comments, suggestions. I love it. I'm open to it, and would love to hear how you want to see Boulderthon continue to grow next year.
Would you like to take a look? Should we show the folks the Boulderthon?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay.
and I said, hold up, cock my glizzy, bang, bang.
So cool. It's a great video.
Captured it really well. Yeah.
Absolutely beautiful. So this is the other thing that I did not mention. All the beards.
Yeah, that's right. I remember you turning to me in the height of the finish line, and you're like, "Phil, everyone is so fit, and I've never seen so many beards before."
Yeah. Most beardy, mustachy race ever. That might be your new marketing
Yeah, I
shtick.
know. I don't know if that's appealing to people or what people feel about that, but let me know how everyone feels about beards and if we should be letting everyone know that we're the most bearded race in the country.
I think it's very fun. I think the whole Colorado thing, it's um, I mean, the beards and the
It's a
long,
Colorado thing, I think. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, the trucker hats. The total vibe, but the
Yeah.
vibe held true. I was like, I wish I had some facial hair. It was made me very sad to be hairless in the face, but
We'll bring you one next year.
thanks. Just a little thing.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make it happen. A blonde beard. Ugh. But it was super cool. I mean, really, you've put on an extraordinary event, and everybody looked so happy. That's the other thing is they
Nice.
probably had to work pretty hard to get to your finish line, but
Yeah.
it was just such a joy-filled day. And when people aren't happy, I hear about it pretty darn quick. They'll find
Yeah.
me. They all think I'm the race director, which is really, really
You're
funny.
standing up there pretty official. Yeah.
That's right, that's right. But yeah, I mean, just pure joy and pure triumph and athleticism, athletic adventure, and obviously so good for your community. The amount of money you brought in with the heads in beds and the butts in seats at the restaurants and the
Yeah.
shopping at the community stores is just what a gift to Boulder that you showed up and decided to create the Boulderthon.
Thank you. Yeah, and thanks for everybody for coming. It was such an amazing weekend. So much gratitude for everyone who came.
Yeah, and just an FYI, I don't know if you missed it, but your mayor committed to doing the 10K next year.
Did he really? I did
Yeah,
not hear
I kind of
that.
harassed him into it. I was like, "Well, have you done this before?" He said, "No."
Okay.
And I was like, "All right." He goes, "Well, next year I will." I said, "Okay. What
I love it.
distance?" And he committed to the
We'll have
10K.
to
So,
hold him to it. So you heard it.
mhm.
You got
Yeah,
him on record.
he can totally do it, and we will give him a hero's welcome.
Absolutely. That's
But
fantastic. Yeah, it was super fun to have the mayor kick off the race too. That was great.
yeah, yeah, good guy. Well, thank you, Phil. Congratulations
Thank
again.
you.
Thanks for
Really
including
appreciate it.
me.
Yeah, thanks for coming out, and thank you so much again for everyone who came and experienced it and volunteered and cheered everybody on. It was such a great weekend.
And, can they register now for next year? Is it open?
Yeah, we just opened up the pre-sale registration, so lowest rate on the website, a couple of other perks as well, so check that out on our website.
All right, boulderthon.org, and, we will see you guys next year, right?
Sounds good.
All
Thanks so
right.
much.